Have you ever seen that cup of tea thing about consent?
No,
No? Oh, maybe
no.
that's an Australian thing. That was really cool. It was really, really cool. Just the idea that when you call something one thing once, that it stays that way, but it never does. So it was like the idea that would you like a cup of tea? Just because you've said yes to a cup of tea before doesn't mean you want one now. Just
Mm,
because you wanted a certain type of cup of tea last time doesn't mean you want it this time. And so it's a
mhm,
really, I think it was a really great analogy for consent for young people. But
mm,
I thought it was like a really great example of how the world actually works.
yeah,
And sort of that idea that strength training is just one thing, or that one thing is only one thing,
mhm,
I think is
yeah,
very dangerous because it does change depending on context and what's
mhm,
happened before or what's going on at the time. And to say one thing is just one thing. I always I don't know how people I do know how people can get to it. I just don't like that conclusion that, well, it's like
yeah,
this and it can only be like this.
yeah, I think I find it, like, sad, actually. I'm just like, "Oh, that's so sad."
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like it's, like, something, like, somebody once told me they can't make art because one time their teacher told them how bad they are at art and they should never make anything again, and they just get so angry. It was a guy,
Mhm.
like a football player guy, um, and he just, like, can't do it, and I thought, "Oh my god, this is so, like, sad." Like, you haven't even been able to explore you haven't been able to explore anything with this because there's this idea in your head about someone who doesn't know anything probably about art. Because
Yeah.
anyone who tells a kid that they're bad at art doesn't know anything about art, I think, in my opinion. Or
Yeah, I agree
maybe
with
that's
you.
the bias, I don't know.
No, well, if that's a bias, we share that bias.
I don't know. I just think
I remember taking Skill and Style with Z Health over in Arizona,
mhm,
and must have been 3 or 4 stories in a group of 30 people about how they hadn't moved since high school or trained since high school because somebody said something bad about the way they moved or the way they ran or jumped or something. And so it seems like both of your passions are the areas where people have it beaten out of them really early, and then they
yeah,
don't play with it as adults.
right, that is so true, and
Mm.
I did work with one guy, he was so cool, probably still cool, I'm just not in touch with him these days, but
Well, if he's not in touch with you, he stopped being cool. Like, he was only cool by association with you. Like,
right,
he
totally.
he borrowed your coolness for a little while?
He's doing cool well, so what was so cool, he was, in his 60s, I think, and he had these 2 kids, and he wanted to learn how to throw a football with his son and, the basics of sports, and it was right after
Mhm.
Skill and Style, and so I was able to teach him how to throw a football with a spin, and he, like, couldn't believe it. It was so cool. I mean, he could believe it because he had, at the time, developed this idea that he could learn things, so, like,
Mhm.
half the battle was won because he knew he could learn it if he had the right teacher, and, like, then there was me, the right teacher. So so it was so cool. We got through, like, almost like, we got through every sport he wanted to do, and he was just so good. And now he, like, told me he's, like, on my website as a testimonial, but he was like he's doing, like, circus things now and, like, gymnastics things now because I taught him how to, like, move his you just need to learn how to move things, and I
Mm.
think a lot of, maybe not every phys ed teacher or whatever, or even coach, knows how to coach people who don't know how to move their bodies. It's easy to tell an already
Yeah.
athletic kid, "Move to the right a little bit." Okay, they move to the right, and then they're perfect, It's harder to tell a kid, "Hey, your right ankle is doing something weird, just go like this with your right ankle." I don't think a lot of those coaches know that the the
No, they
basics
don't.
of mobility and the way your joints and stuff are supposed to move. Literally, one of the things I told this guy was, "Oh, your right ankle is down there, it needs to be up here," and he did it, and, like, everything changed. It's pretty wild what can change if you
Yeah.
just change one thing. Anyway, so that was really cool.